So we had a little fun yesterday, smashing the crap out of the OEM track bar with our Yeti XD, and today I thought I would go ahead and give you a little bit more insight into some of the things that make our product better, besides just smashing a track bar, than the other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and cut the OEM track bar in half and kind of show you what the makeup of this thing is and what makes our stuff far superior and a better option for stock all the way up to crazy modified. So let's tear this thing apart real quick. All right, so now that we got all this stuff taken apart, let's go ahead and just kind of break some of this stuff down so that you can really see the makeup of the OEM stuff and ours, and I think it'll be pretty visible, the difference and what makes our stuff better. Again, this is just compared to OEM, but a lot of these things apply to a lot of the other options that are out there in the aftermarket as well. So to start with, as far as how the ends are held into the tube, they use a crimp. So essentially, they have these slots here. There's four rows of 3, and they're taking the tube essentially and shoving this in. It's called a swedge, and they push it in like that, and then a machine comes and clamps down on it and creates those little divots that are inside of there. And that is the only thing that holds this end into this tube. Now ours is obviously threaded, and this is for both the long end and the short end. And you can see how far those threads go. And this one was a used one, so you can actually see how far it was threaded in. And if we just, for comparison's sake, show, you can see there how much further ours is threaded in compared to the crimp. And you can also see or imagine that when both sides are threaded, how much more surface area is going to be in contact with our end, and what happens when you actually clamp this together. Essentially, this hollow section that's threaded becomes one continuous piece, as in, it'd be like it's one piece together. So right there is a rather drastic difference. The other thing here, or another thing that we can talk about, would be the tubes that are used here. So the OEM is a hollow tube all the way through, and again, it is just crimped to each of the ends. So there's no adjustment, and they're also only just held into this tube by the 4 rows of 3 crimps, which is not very much. The 4 crimps measure under an inch in total separation. And if we go and measure here, let's see. So the amount of engagement on this is roughly, roughly 2 1/4 inches of engagement, in addition to all the threading. So a drastic amount different, and that's on both ends. And this is the entire length of the adjuster tube. This is the only hollow section in all of our track bar, versus the OEM, which is the entire length of tubing here is all hollow. So let's look at the thickness of the hollow sections. The wall thickness, which is the thickness here on, so first of all, let's There's 0, just so you know, it's zeroed out. The wall thickness on the OEM bar is let's see, 0.184-ish, which is 3/16. Now, our adjuster is going to be, let's see. So on the outside where the threading is, it's about 0.2, but the difference is that in the middle, and that's why I cut this away, you can see how much thicker it is in the middle. So it's 0.2, or like 0.22 here in the threaded section, but in the middle, it gets all the way up to 0.383. So drastically thicker in the middle. And this is chromoly. I don't know what kind of steel they're using here, but I don't believe it's chromoly. So just an example here, our adjuster sleeve, their tube, their entire tube fits inside of our adjuster sleeve. Massive difference. Now we can compare the ends here. I think this should be pretty easy to see. There is no comparison. Let's see what this is. We'll get a measurement on this. We're at 1.07, we'll call it. Now we'll grab ours. Let's see. 1.55 on the threads. 1.78 in the thickest portion. And from the appearance of this, this is the thickest portion. So 1.07 basically there to our basically 1.79. Massive difference. They only offer their bushing in rubber. We have our standard, which is a rubber bushing, or we have our Pro Series, which is going to be a polyurethane bushing. It's going to be a much stiffer durometer. It's going to allow for 360 degrees of rotation here because the inner sleeve is not vulcanized to the outer, in this case, rubber. So the inner, the outer, they're both vulcanized or melted to the rubber on this. And this polyurethane bushing is a 3-piece. So there's an inner sleeve that's separate from the poly, that's separate from the inner sleeve. And we grease them all up. So we grease the outside of the poly and the inside, and you press the poly into this inner sleeve, and then you press the inner sleeve into that. So yes, you can see, like I said, very easily the difference in the makeup of these pieces and what it is that, you know, makes our stuff far superior to the OEM especially, but again, most all of the aftermarket is in a similar boat to this. So yeah, instead of just being a fun video, we thought it would make this one a little bit more informative. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a message, an email, sales@steersmarts.com, info@steersmarts.com, or you can chat with us on HubSpot on our website.